Hi, Embracing Only podcast family. This is Archita. We are introducing impact moments, actionable insights that highlight the best and powerful learning moments and wisdom from our past episodes of incredible guests. In this highlight reel, you'll hear leadership lessons from a combat veteran, taking action to be anti-racist, mastering workplace negotiations, leveraging your uniqueness for success. We'll take a topic and break it down in a short, snappy episode. So click on the link in the show notes to continue listening to these impact moments with our amazing guests. How do people learn to sell and negotiate? It is two of the hardest dang skills, especially when you have been, I would say, brainwashed to believing that bands determine your next salary raise, your talent box and your performance review determines A, B, C, D, E. How do you talk past that to position yourself for success?
I think selling, like you said, selling and negotiating, I talk about this all the time. Selling, one of the key things is, what are your key competencies? What are you great at? Don't worry about what you should be great at. What are you actually great at? Like in my job in human resources, I do a lot of different things. I wear a lot of different hats. I have to be able to do compliance and governance and recruit people and know who's right for which manager and know who's booking for interviews and be able to look at a CV. I do so many things. But what I know I'm great at is problem solving. I can see a problem. I can fix it. I also know I'm a good communicator, verbal communication. I'm good at verbal communication. I can speak to people, anyone in the corporate line. It doesn't matter if it's the VP. It doesn't matter if it's an entry-level junior. I can speak to anyone and they can connect and relate to me. I used those two skills and decided, how do they help me do a great job? And I think this is where you build your confidence. This is where you build your sales skills. People always think about selling what they think of like the car salesman, like doing the over-the-top selling. No. When I started selling myself, I just told people what I was good at. And I kept telling people what I was good at. So if you can figure out, what are you good at? You don't need to be good at 30 things. I always tell people that I speak to 3 things. What 3 things are you good at? Now, figure out how those 3 things have helped you in your life and in your career. Now, when you talk about those things, have a brag book. We remember all the bad things we do. We don't write down what we do good. The more you can figure out what you're good at, the more you can figure out, I can look back in my life and be like, oh, these are all the times when I've problem solved my way out. These are all the times when I've communicated my way into negotiating, whatever it was. How do I negotiate? Communication. How do I sell? Communication. So no, I wouldn't say I'm a salesperson. How else do I sell? Honesty and integrity. When I first got into recruitment, they were like, oh, you're going to have to fancy up the truth or bend the truth a little bit. And I was like, nah, I can sell to someone and tell them the absolute truth. And I did. And that's how I sold. So selling is about, what are you good at? How has that shown up in your career? Because sometimes we'll say things like, oh, I'm super organized. And then when I say something to someone, dig deeper, tell me how your organization has helped you win in your career. They can't. And I'm like, nah, that's not it. That's not the strength. What are your strengths? What has helped you win in your career? What has helped you win at life? What has helped you win at being a mum? What has helped you win at being a partner? Who are you and what are you great at? Figure out how you can talk about those things repeatedly. I can talk about stories where I've problem solved over and over again, but I couldn't necessarily talk about stories where I've done something great with mathematics because I'm not great with maths. So I don't focus on what I'm not great with at, I focus on what I am. And I talk about that over and over again. That's all selling is. Selling is telling someone what you're good at and how it can help them. But until you figure out what you're good at, you can't tell someone else how it can help them. So that's literally all I do to learn to sell. Like, selling is not this complex thing that people tell you. Selling is talking about what you're good at and how that thing is valuable to someone else. Me being good at problem solving is valuable to my company. It helps my company make money. And I can tell them exactly how, because I've really honed in on the fact that problem solving is my skill. I've really honed in on the fact that communication helps me get you new customers, helps me keep your current customers, helps me impact your bottom line. So when I'm talking about it, people are like, oh, communication, how do you talk about how that makes money? I just did, because I'm able to get your customers and your clients to want to keep working with you. And I'm able to convince people that this is where you need to be, just from a conversation. Versus someone else might be able to do that by putting together like business plans or in writing. They might be great at emails. Like, what is your selling point? So I think selling, again, like I said, is just you figuring out what you're great at and how someone else would use it. And then negotiation is just an even exchange. Negotiating is just, I know what I'm good at. You want it. This is how much it's going to cost if you want it. Or this is what it's going to cost for you. We negotiate every day. Anyone who's a parent of a young child, you negotiate every single day of your life. Because to get a 2-year-old to do the thing you want them to do, you're already negotiating. You have that skill set. People think we don't. You already negotiate every day of your life. If you ever convince the teacher to change your grade because you felt like they missed something on your marks, you negotiated. You've been negotiating. People just think they don't negotiate. I can almost look at someone's life and tell them where they negotiate versus them sitting back and saying, oh no, I'm scared of negotiating. I don't like the back and forth. I promise you, there's some area of your life where you negotiate. People negotiate in their relationship with their partner, their husbands. Like, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. Who wins is the person who negotiated the best. So that's what I would say about selling and negotiating. These are skill sets you already have. It's just you really looking at understanding what they are and not looking at them from a societal perspective. Like selling, oh, high, cheesy, loud, look at me. Like, that's not sales. Sales is just letting someone know what you're good at and how it can help them, and then giving them the room to decide if they want that thing.
I love that. And I want to double click in here for a second here, because Archita, I think a lot of women that come to us, specifically to the salary negotiation part, you said something, Adelle, that's so important, because I think sometimes women aren't necessarily ready to pivot, but they're like, I'm not making enough money. Right. HR will come at you and say, here's the pay band, and you can only get an 11% increase because that's industry standard if you're getting a promotion, blah, blah, blah. None of that needs to apply to you if you apply what Adelle is saying here. But the trick is understanding your value to the company. If you have made yourself valuable enough, they will pay you whatever the heck you want to keep you in the company. I've seen it happen time and time again. And sometimes when we talk about like the broken rung syndrome, for example, what is happening is our male counterparts recognize their value. They recognize their superpowers and they're like, pay me or I walk, right? Now, you don't necessarily have to be so aggressive. That's a very aggressive negotiation tactic. I don't necessarily recommend the pay me or I walk style. But I will tell you, you will be very successful in selling value. If the company, for example, is struggling with talent acquisition, like in Adelle's case, and you can write an amazing interview program that's helping them not swing and miss and avoid the cost of a mishire, you just made yourself super invaluable. So there's two pieces in summary that I want people to take away here. One, you have to know your superpower. You have to know your superpower. And if you are struggling, to Adelle's point, to really articulate what your superpower is, go ask somebody. I promise you they will tell you. Everybody around you knows what your superpower is, because we as humans are wired to be like, oh, this person is good at this. I can leverage them for that. Oh, this person, your boss knows what you're good at, right? Because you're an asset to the company. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying you, and they will tell you exactly what you're good at. So if you haven't figured it out for yourself, this might be something that you can walk away from this conversation, a tangible thing that you can take away from this conversation. Go ask your village. Go ask your parents, go ask your spouse, go ask your best friends, go ask the people at work, even the people that you don't like at work, because even them will be able to be like, oh yeah, you're really good at these things. They might say it sassily, but you'll get some consistency and really listen to what people are telling you, and you will find some patterns in what people are saying is your superpower. Once you realize what that superpower is, monetize the heck out of it. Monetize it, ladies. Like, we're women. We do like a million things amazing a day, right? Things that we just do naturally. Take those skills and don't be afraid to take the leap and branch out and do something for yourself, even if it's on a trial basis, right? Adelle did. She didn't just quit her job. Like, she had a little one to feed. She didn't haul off and quit and say, what's hell with it? I'm going to go do this big pivot. It was an incremental shift, which is absolutely appropriate unless you're in a super toxic environment, which, to quote one of our previous guest, Cindy Gallup, unless it's toxic and they're wearing you out, and then if that's the case, then you need to get the hell out of there and do the big pivot. But if it's not, a soft pivot is totally fine.